lightning and the thunder.
But after all these years, I'm still scared of thunder.
It's time for Middays with Thunder with Mitch Nelles, broadcasting live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Yeah, boy! My name's Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder, getting my camera right on YouTube. This is 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan. The YouTube channel is at The Fan Milwaukee. That's all our socials. We're on the Odyssey app. That's A-U-D-A-C-Y. Say it with me in your cars. A-U-D-A-C-Y. A-U-D-A-C-Y. We're also in the iHeart app, because we just own all of radio and we're the best. So you want some, come get some. Great first hour here on Middays with Thunder. Again, Spike Eskin, WIP in Philadelphia, joined us. The Phillies are in town. The Eagles play the first game in the NFL season tomorrow night against our new best friends. Charlie, I don't know if you knew that or not, but the Dallas Cowboys are our new best friends. They clearly do favors for us.
Seems like it. I mean, either that or Jerry Jones is again senile, which I think is also possible.
Well, that is also, two things can be true. They can be our new best friends, and Jerry Jones can be senile. Charlie, I got an internal question for you.
What's that?
Does your, like, I always do this with my mic, and then it always drops down, and so I kind of always just leave it.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I first started here, I did bring a screwdriver in, and I tightened some things, and that worked for a little while. Does your mic go up, can it, or it just falls down?
No, it just falls down. I lower myself to the mic.
So your mic is Tommy height.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Always. Yeah.
Ed can help you out with that.
All right.
And he's actually right there.
Perfect.
Should we get him in here right now?
So yeah, we can get him in here.
Because we could tighten all these things, and then we could move the mic so that it is, because I don't know if you know this or not, Sparky and I also are not the same height.
No. I realized that very quickly too.
Yeah. And so and when I first started here, the mic was down here, and I was having to do this. It's not good for your back.
No.
Or neck. And you're too young, Charlie, as someone who has more neck problems than back problems. You're too young to deal with that sort of stuff. And you smashed your head into other people a lot when you played football. So I'm just looking out for you. If you want to make that, a better situation for yourself, Ed can come in and just tighten a few things for you.
All right. I think we might have to make some magic happen.
Now, if somebody could come in and tighten some screws that are loose in my brain, that would help out a lot more, but we don't have that. This is 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan. My name's Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. Middays with Thunder, 11 to 2 right now. As always, I love just being a Milwaukee-based sports talk radio show for you, because I know there are other options, but I know that they don't do what we do for the fans as the voice of the fans. And speaking of the voice of the fans, as a fan, I want to hear what Matt LaFleur has to say, because it is game week, and I'm excited. Listen, I'm excited for Jose Quintana tonight. I'm excited for the Brewers to get back on get back in the right way, in the right column, which the win column is actually the left column. So, but get back into the correct column, get back into the win column tonight, hosting the Philadelphia Phillies at 6:40 at AmFam Field. But I'm also excited for tomorrow night, Eagles and Cowboys. I'm excited for Friday night, Chargers and Chiefs. And I am ecstatic for Sunday, 3:25 p.m. on CBS, Detroit Lions at Green Bay Packers. Matt LaFleur spoke about half an hour ago or so to the media in Green Bay. Let's sneak a listen.
I know we talk about this every year around this time, but what's the challenge of facing a team with two new coordinators? There's not a whole lot of film up there.
Yeah, it's like this every year, week one, no matter who you're playing. If they do have a lot of film, you just have to prepare for unscouted looks. You got to trust your rules. Everybody makes tweaks around the league. Or I should say most teams make some tweaks around the league in the offseason. But certainly I would expect that these new coordinators are going to have their own flavor to what they want to do and what their identity is going to be.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to say right there, and Charlie, you believe this, anybody who played football out there is going to believe this, do your job. Don't try to do too much. Don't, we see, and I'm looking at you, Quay Walker, Mr. Over Pursue, Mr. Take the Wrong Lane, Mr. Take the Wrong Angle. Do your job. Don't try to do anything special. Don't try to make a splashy play because Micah Parsons is on the team now and you want to make your impact. Do your job. Stay in your lane. Trust your system and your process, and things will go okay for the Green Bay Packers. Is that fair?
That's one of the biggest rules that you learn just from like the moment you start playing football. If everybody is on the same page, everybody's just doing their own job, you will be right 100% of the time.
Right.
It's when somebody tries to do too much or too little is when you're messed up.
That doesn't mean the Detroit Lions aren't going to get some hits themselves. Like, that doesn't mean that Jahmyr Gibbs isn't going to bust off a 20-yarder or Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't going to get his, or Hutchinson's going to break free and get to Jordan Love. Like, all those things are going to happen because they are also professional football players who get paid a lot of money to play the game that we're going to watch on Sunday. But it'll happen less and less if the Packers make sure to do their job. So regardless of new coordinators or regardless of you're playing a team that has the same 11 guys as last year and the same coordinators and everything's exactly the same, do your job, stay in your lane. They're going to win some, you're going to win some. But if you do your job, you put yourself in a position to win more than they win.
Exactly. That's the biggest key, is just to win more than the other team wins during that game, because they're going to win some stuff. You're going to lose some stuff. You have to try to make less mistakes in that.
With this team in general at home, they obviously won the last two NFC North. You beat them once the last 3 seasons. How much time do you spend in the offseason thinking about pursuing them specifically, and what does it mean to start?
I think it always starts with your division. So it's not just Detroit, but certainly they've been the standard the last 2 seasons in this league, and I've got a lot of respect for what they've been able to accomplish. Got a lot of respect for Dan, what he's been able to establish. So it's going to be a great challenge, but one I think that we're just going to prepare to the best of our ability each and every day to give us the best chance to go out there and have some success.
That's right. Bring it, Dan Campbell.
Original
Let's go.
games from last year. Was there a common thread in them in terms of what went wrong that caused
Started
issues
slow
that
and we sucked. Say it. Started slow
Yeah,
and we
well,
sucked.
I mean, I think with specifically Detroit, in both games that we played them, we got behind way too early,
Oh,
and that's hard to
didn't
do
Thunder
against
just
a really
say that?
good football team.
Thanks, Matt.
We had a couple costly turnovers, really in both games.
Yep. Jordan, can you hold on to the ball, please?
Ended up
Don't
being
just
critical
hand it to the
plays.
other team
So
on a weird
We've got to do a great job,
pass.
really offensively, in our return units, hanging on to that football. Defensively, we've got to make a game changing play in some facet to be able to get the
Micah.
ball out. I think we had one
Micah.
interception in the 2 games last year.
Micah.
On Keyshawn's pick. And so, but getting off to a fast start, I think, is critical when you're playing against a really good football team.
I would say to Matt, it doesn't even necessarily need to be a fast start. It just can't be a slow start. Like, if you get out to a start and it is matched by the other team, it is the same speed as the other team, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you start fast and they start fast, or if you start tentative and they start tentative, what you can't do is give up an opening drive touchdown, turn the ball over, and give up another touchdown, right? You can't go down 14-0 midway through the first quarter. Let's not have that happen, Matt. What you need to happen is you just need, again, it all goes back to that first answer, right? Do your job, stay in your lane, do what you've been taught to do what you know how to do, and more often than not, things will work out. Figure out a way to make them make the mistake. Don't make the mistake for them.
Matt, with them getting Hutchinson back, how does that change their defense?
A lot.
Dude's a stud. Dude's
You're
a stud.
talking about one of the premier players in the National Football League. So just going through and watching all his tape from last season, we didn't see him at all. I mean, the guy's a game wrecker, and it shows up all over the tape, whether he's just in both the run game and in the pass game. And I think that's pretty special to have a guy that's capable of doing that. But he's a relentless competitor. He works really hard, and he causes a lot of havoc, both in run and pass.
Do you feel good enough about where Mike is at with his back that you're expecting to play on Sunday?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we're still he's doing everything in his power. He's rehabbing hard. we've got to get through a couple practices to see how he responds, to see how he does, but certainly hopeful.
Are you pads today?
Hold on,
We are pads today.
hold on.
So
Let's listen to that one again.
That you expect him to play on Sunday?
well, we'll see. I mean, we're still he's doing everything in his power. He's rehabbing hard. You know, we've got to get through a couple practices to see how he responds, to see how he does, but certainly hopeful.
I gotta listen to it again.
Where Mike is at with his back that you expect him to play on Sunday?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we're still he's doing everything in his power. He's rehabbing hard. You know, we've got to get through a couple practices to see how he responds, to see how he does, but certainly hopeful.
None of that sounds good. Am I wrong here?
I think that's crap.
You think he's blowing smoke?
I think he's blowing smoke, man.
Man, I hope he's blowing smoke because that does not sound good. We're hopeful. Like we got to see how he responds after a couple practices. That sounds like he's more likely not playing than playing. Charlie, tell me it's crap. Tell me it's just coach speak, and that of course Micah Parsons is playing on Sunday.
I feel like Micah Parsons has to play on Sunday. I feel like you have to give him some kind of real game type of scenario before you get deeper into the season here, before you get too deep into your offense or your defense and how you're developing that, because a lot of these other players have already been in this defensive system. He needs to start getting into that. And I think you need to get him into that in a real live game scenario. And what we saw from practice yesterday from the videos that they were putting out there is that he looks like he's moving well. He looks like he's in with that first group of defense. The depth chart that they released earlier today said he was the starting defensive end across from Rashawn Gary.
Yep.
I mean, everything is pointing towards him playing for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, damn, the Packers medical staff cleared him. Like, that was enough. They traded for him. That should be say enough. He's good to go.
They did trade for him. And to me, what that means is like he's healthy enough that he will be ready at some point. And I agree that Matt LaFleur is his job with this is subterfuge, right? His job here is to not lie. And I don't think anything he said was a lie. Like, are they hopeful he plays? Yeah, they know he's going to play, but they're hopeful he plays. We do have to see how he responds after a couple practices. You know what? It doesn't really matter how it matters a little bit. Like, listen, if he goes down, if something's wrong, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. But we're not ready to say, like, he hasn't practiced once all offseason, right? And so to say that he's ready to play in a game, we can't say that. We can't say he's ready to play in a game. We got to see how he responds from practice. Now, guess what? We already know the answer. Fast forward to Friday. We know that Micah Parsons has played 4 years in this league. He's never had less than 12 sacks in a season. We know what he's done in one-on-ones already. We know he's ready to go. We know he's ready to play. We know he might need a shot, right? He might need that epidural anti-inflammatory. He might need that because there is a situation in his back. It's not a nothing burger. It's a something burger, but it's a burger that you can work with, right? It's not burnt. It's not raw. You can mold it. The patty's ready to go. Melt a little cheese on top. Micah Parsons is ready to play on Sunday.
Exactly. And it's not like a bad burger either. It's going to be a really good burger at its worst.
Going to be a really, really good burger.
Like, that's a lot of fun to see. And I feel you have to, even if it's the 20 snaps that we were talking about yesterday in Wisconsin Sports Daily, even if it's that just 20 snaps, you have to get them out there for that 20 snaps.
Yeah, because the field tilts, right? In those 20 snaps, the field tilts. And again, like when Trevor McGill comes back, and your Reba's job gets easier, and Koenig's job gets easier. And when Mike is out there, Gary's job gets easier, and LVN's job gets easier, and Edge Cooper, and Quay Walker, and the interior defensive linemen, all their jobs get easier when Micah Parsons is out there on the field. So, yes, hopeful, but we know the answer. We better.
Are you pads today or pads?
We are pads today. So, no, not necessarily. I think it's going to be week to week in regards to how we do it. But when we're not coming off a game, typically we'll do the padded practices on Wednesday. Like for example, after the Thursday night game, we'll do it again on a Wednesday. But if we're coming off a Sunday or Monday game, then we'll put them on Thursday.
All right, that is the first half of Matt LaFleur. We'll listen to the next half when we come back. But I think the main news there, and it's funny, we're halfway through it. We asked about Micah Parsons and about the Detroit Lions. Right? Nobody's asked about Jordan Love. Nobody asked about Jaden Reed. Nobody asked about Elton Jenkins. Nobody asked about left tackle. Nobody asked about left tackle. Like, come on, what are we doing here, people? I get it that we're asking the pads question. I'm like, come on. Like, sometimes when I'm in one of those media scrums, I had a chance to see Pat Murphy yesterday at Lexus in North Shore. There might be Lexus in Milwaukee now. I'm not sure. But they're right there in Silver Spring, in Glendale. And, Murph, he doesn't know my name. But he recognized my, he's, hey, how you doing? What are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, I've got a buddy who works here and I bought my car from here and I got a picture taken with him. But like when Murph is at when after every game, every press conference, you usually know every so often there's a question out of left field and you kind of look at the guy and you're like, does he have an agenda or does he have his story already written and he's just looking for that quote? This is a little different, during the week, football coaches are a little different. Baseball's every day. Football's once a week. You're kind of grasping for questions. I feel like there's a lot of questions you could ask before, like, all right, you got some pads? Like, what? Listen, and I am a huge fan and proponent of the fact that press conferences are for the fans. And the media's job, my job, if I'm at a game, if I'm going to ask a question, the only thing on my mind is what do the fans want to know? I don't care what I want to know. I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. I don't want to ask some fancy question that shows how smart I am. I want to ask a question that like the fans are interested in. Like last time I asked, I think it was like when Miz faced the Cubs, maybe, or it was one of the Cubs games. Maybe it wasn't Miz. And I was like, did you notice that the crowd was buzzing? Oh, it was when the Cubs beat them. And I was like, did you notice that like the Cubs fans were a little louder? There was a buzz in the crowd. And every time you guys started to come back, like then people were going nuts. He's like, I don't really notice that stuff, but that's good for, that's good for Milwaukee. It's good for the fans. And like, that's fine for Murphy to say that. I think he probably does notice it a little bit more than he's willing to let on. But like, that's what I want to know. I want to know the question for the fans. And I get it that maybe the hardcore fans care about the pads, but who's caring about the pads? Like what's going on here? Like what? I don't know.
It doesn't.
It's kind of weird.
It doesn't really pique my interest, right. I guess, to say.
And you're a football knucklehead,
and that is that's something that I think teams do talk about. They prepare for the week before a game and have to decide which practices they're going to go full pads, which practices they're just doing a walkthrough a little bit. And I think also what that does, at least for the reporters, is kind of let them know what they should expect from practice, the type of intensity, how they should report the practice then to the fans. I think is really what that question is for, because if it is just a light 7-on-7 practice and you see Matthew Golden go up and make a one-handed catch, yeah, that's really cool. But then you also have to remember that they're not wearing pads and that it's a 7-on-7,
right,
where the cornerback is on an island on his own.
Sure.
So I think that's important for the reporters to kind of help build the narrative later on when they're making those stories.
Absolutely. So we'll listen to the second half of Matt LaFleur when we come back. My name is Mitch Nelles, aka Thunder. It's Middays with Thunder right here on the Fan, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, the Fan, free on the Odyssey app. This is Middays with Thunder here on The Fan, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM. The Fan, free on the Odyssey app. I'm Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. Make sure you're listening to Pack a Day Radio with Andy Herman every day from 8 to 9. The Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon from 9 to 11. Middays with Thunder right now, 11 to 2. And, of course, Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer live every day from 2 to 5. That was terrible, Charlie.
It was a good attempt.
It was a good attempt.
I give you effort for trying.
I can do way better than that.
You know, that was all right. Next time, we'll try it again.
And there will be a next time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Brewers in action tonight. Remember, the leadoff show will be at the Milwaukee Broadhouse along with Wisconsin Sports Daily. We'll be out there from 2 to 6:30, 2 to 5 for Wisconsin Sports Daily, 5 to 6:30 with the leadoff show and Tommy Wirtz. The Milwaukee Broadhouse right there on Old World 3rd Street / MLK, right outside the Deer District. So that should be a great time with Sparky and with Tommy today as the Brewers take on the Phillies in game 2 of a 3-game set at 6:40. We are listening to Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur spoke at his press conference with the media earlier today. Micah Parsons, they're hopeful he plays. Charlie and I already said that's a little bit of a crap. That's a little bit of a, you know what? He's playing. He's out there. He's not playing every snap. He's a 50%er, somewhere between 40 and 60% probably, somewhere between 20 and 30 snaps probably. But number one will be on the field on Sunday. Let's go back for some more Matt LaFleur.
Matt, Kenny was such a big part of your run defense. What challenges does this 1-2 punch of Gibbs and Montgomery bring?
Yeah, it's not only those two guys. I think it's the totality of the offense. Obviously, got a great offensive line. I know they got some new pieces in there, but you look at how the receivers block in the run game as well, and certainly when you got two backs as dynamic as those two guys, it presents a huge challenge. And anytime starting the run or stopping the run, it truly takes all 11. We need physicality at all 3 levels. Guys got to be able to defeat blocks. Guys got to make sure that they're playing their right gaps, because both these backs, if you give them a crease, they could go. So we got to do a great job of just playing great team run defense.
I think that's what Charlie and I said.
Great edges.
Stay in your lane, do your job.
Elton just getting a vet rest day on, was that Monday, or is there an issue there?
He will be limited in some capacity.
There's your answer. There's an issue there.
Find a receiver at all to have a nice round 0 on his.
All right, so here's another pet peeve I have, Charlie. Like, the next reporter obviously had his question about Matthew Golden ready to go, and so he starts asking, like, clearly there's some smoke there with what Matt LaFleur said about talking about Elton Jenkins. Was Elton Jenkins just getting a vet day, or is there something going on? He'll be limited today. Follow up the question. Like, where did we lose the ability as human beings to listen and to follow up with a question? It's actually one of the things I love doing as an interviewer. Like, I love doing it with Spike Eskin. I love doing it even with Camille, who we have on all the time. But with Camille or whoever we have on, is like listening to their answer and asking the correct follow-up next. Like, oh, Elton Jenkins injured. Oh, how about Matthew Golden? Shut up. And I'm guessing at some point there will be a follow-up in this press conference, but like, I get that, like, you got to get your question about Matthew Golden and he's number 0. And I don't like it. I think there should be room for that follow-up there when clearly Matt LaFleur literally just gave you news.
I think the other thing with that, though, is from, I guess, some of these reporters' perspective, is that Matt LaFleur has been the head coach of the Packers for a while now. They understand how he's going to answer questions. And if he already kind of answered that question vaguely, they probably feel like they're just not going to get a clear answer from him if they keep pressing him about it. It's just going to make him clam up a little bit more. And I think that's kind of where they start thinking about just moving on to stuff.
I think there's got to be still one more question. I think there's got to be one follow-up, because he did the original question. He answered the question. Mm-hmm. I think there's got to be at least one follow-up. Now, with all that said, that's not the news here.
Right.
The news here is that something's up with Elton Jenkins. Elton Jenkins missed practice on Monday and is a limited participant today. That's the important part. And so hopefully we will hear more about that. Please hold for Matt LaFleur.
Just
Excuse me? Yeah. I don't care about numbers. So
Yeah. Why would Matt LaFleur care about that?
That's what those guys, that's their deal. But what were you saying about the number?
just a joke. It was a bad joke.
Okay. That's all
As
right.
far as
I'm really not in a joking mood right now. So I'm kind of like, I
Ooh.
apologize.
I went
That's
for
on
it.
me. That's on me.
All right.
That's on me.
All right. At least he's got it on him.
How rare is it in your experience to see a rookie receiver? You know, Brian's talked the past couple of years about how 7-on-7 has helped to expedite their development, but a guy who's been able to be where he is coming into week one, is that fairly rare?
Well, I think it's a credit to him and certainly our coaches of getting him schooled up. I think Mahaffey and Vrabel do a great job in that room. And not only those two guys, but I got to give a lot of credit to our veteran players, you know, taking a guy like that under their wing and really truly trying to help him get acclimated and get up to speed as quickly as possible. So unfortunately, we've had a lot of guys miss time, but I would say the byproduct of that is he gets more opportunity, and he was able to take advantage of those opportunities throughout the course of not only the offseason program, but throughout training camp.
You're at home for the first time in your career for week one. Does that matter to you? I mean, you get 8 home games regardless. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think week one is the most playoff type atmosphere that you can come by.
All right, so this is another surprise to me, and we'll let Matt finish his answer. Like, that is a question I would have thought he would have totally blown off. Doesn't matter to me where you play. Like, you got to you play your schedule, right? And you play the games you play, and you got to win the games that are in front of you, and we're going to prepare. It doesn't matter home or away or whatever. Like, I would have expected that answer. All of a sudden, he's like, yeah, it matters. Let's just playoff atmosphere. Let's go, baby, week one.
Well, I think the way that Matt LaFleur, at least from what I've learned listening to him for the past year and a half that I've been at the station, is that he loves answering questions about strategy and about how he's going to use players, how an atmosphere is going to change the way that he calls a game, stuff like that. And he hates answering questions that are all like rumors and storylines and all these other things. So injuries, he hates answering questions about injuries because usually he never really knows at any given point how a guy's feeling right at that moment. And he like acts like that most of the time. But when you ask him about the X's and O's, you ask him about how an atmosphere is going to, again, change the way he calls the game or something like that, he's going to get excited about that type of question. I think that's just kind of who he is as a coach.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but it just didn't seem exactly in character for him to answer this with as much exuberance as he does. Having just said he's not in a joking mood, he's not in the mood, you know.
Maybe he's trying to lighten up a little bit after kind of going crazy like that.
Just in terms of everybody, the excitement, the energy in the stadium, the fans are certainly going to be rowdy. Everybody's been
better be. Mason Crosby said,
football,
fans, you better get rowdy.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal because I expect our crowd to show up and show out for us.
How are third downs defensively facing the Lions different than they are from other teams?
Yeah, it's been a challenge because they've been willing to run the football in those situations in the past. And I mean, obviously with Johnny Morton, new coordinator, but I wouldn't expect it to be too different. I just think you got to be ready to defend all 4 downs, and third down, sometimes you got to treat it second down depending upon the situation.
What your opinion was on kind of the need for that emergency quarterback policy you have, and how difficult is it to, now the season has started, to develop a practice squad type of QB when you're going about preparing for games every week?
Yeah, it's a big challenge because it's just the time on task. So we'll have a plan for that, but yeah, it's not a great situation to be in if you have to get down to that position.
Yeah, that's
get Micah ready.
Again, that's a nothing
Parsons
burger question.
Mentally, with
third quarterback,
extra work on the owner.
It's me,
with
okay?
Coaches, or is it just go to the meetings and follow along and catch up?
No, I mean, we've had a lot of meetings with him, so we're very fortunate. I would say he's got an extremely high football IQ.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. No surprise there.
You can tell just sitting down with him.
Stud.
Even in limited time.
Deal with it.
This guy's a smart guy, so
deal with the
Lions.
Deal with the Commanders. Dude's a
certainly
stud.
As you game plan, you kind of shrink your playbook. So you're pretty specific with what you're going to ask him to do. But I don't foresee that being a problem. I think he's got a high capacity.
Stud. He's a stud.
Really
the game comes naturally to him.
What is the challenge of integrating him? So maybe Halfley wants to go add a few things.
Halfley can do whatever he wants.
Playbook. And so
I gave him all the toys. He gets to play with them.
Micah's presence. Is there something?
Yeah, but there's. I would say
wants.
this. I think every week in this league, you game plan certain things.
Yep.
And you have game plan specific concepts, if you will, that are going to be, just
it's going to be fun.
In addition to your normal defense.
It's going to be fun.
It seems like Colby Wooden's going to have an expanded role in the wake of this trade. Just what did y'all see from him during training camp to give y'all faith in him?
Very consistent player, and it's
go.
not just the load doesn't just fall on him. It's
everybody.
The collective. It's
the
all
whole
those
D-line.
guys, and when you kept initially on our initial roster, we kept 6. Obviously, we're down to 5 now, but we feel confident in all those guys that they can go in there and get the job done.
Ryan was pretty confident that, Stackhouse and Brinson could help you out, but does it make you nervous? Because rookies have a hard time on the defensive line in general, don't they?
What does that mean?
From college to the NFL.
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard. It's hard for every rookie, but clearly we like these guys. These are the guys we kept.
They got to put in the work, and I think confidence comes through the preparation. So we expect those guys to go out there and have a good 3 days of practices and have a great walkthrough on Saturday and be ready to go play.
Do your job, right? Again, we come back to it, Charlie. Do your job, whether they're rookies or whether they're 8-year veterans. That doesn't matter. Do your job. Do your job. Whether it's Nazir Stackhouse, who's the undrafted free agent, and we've talked about him, whether it's draft picks, again, whether it's a guy in the 4th year of his rookie deal and he didn't get the 5th year guaranteed, or in the 5th year and he did get guaranteed, or he's in his 1st year of his 2nd deal, 6th year player. Like, do your job. And so I feel like the media wasted their questions today. I feel like there were so many better questions they could have asked. And I know LaFleur's not going to answer injury questions specifically. So maybe that's why there was no follow-up on Jenkins. There was no question about Reed. But I just feel like there were a lot more places they could have gone. But we did get, Micah Parsons. He's at all the meetings. Got a super high IQ. Hopefully he'll be ready to go. We'll see how he responds after the couple practices. I think we'd all be shocked. We would all be shocked if Micah Parsons did not play at least a good amount. Not the whole game. He'll play, they'll be smart with him. They'll be strategic with him. But Micah Parsons is going to be on the field on Sunday.
It would be pretty disappointing if he doesn't play on Sunday and then they also lose for some reason too.
Don't say that. They can't lose.
I'm just saying that
Charlie,
would be, you make this huge trade, you'd be disappointing a lot of people if they go out there and lose that game.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. So thanks to Packers.com for providing that audio. Matt LaFleur here on Middays with Thunder. When we come back, your top 5 Packers, our top 5 Packers. Throw it up on the Facebook page at The Fan Milwaukee, at Thunder MKE. Find us on Twitter, those same places, at The Fan Milwaukee, at Twitter, at Thunder MKE. You can also text in to the Nick Law Fan Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. I will give a shout out to the 262 that wrote this new show, 2 thumbs up. You know what, 262? I'll take it. I'll take 2 thumbs up. You can't do worse, or you can't do better.
You can't do better.
You can't do way worse. You can't do better than 2 thumbs up. So 262, I will take your 2 thumbs up. I appreciate it. And I know Q has a bunch of comments in the dugout on our chat in YouTube. We will get to those as well. Some of the Kawhi Leonard situation, we did talk about that a little bit on the Mason Crosby Show. For those of you who don't know, the 1020 segment on the Mason Crosby Show is kind of morphed into the business of sports segment. And so that's what we talked about at 1020. So if you do go back on your Spotify or on your Apple or on your iHeart or on your Odyssey or whatever app you're using, you look up for the Mason Crosby Show, you look for the second hour of the program today, you go around 1020, 1030, more like 1030. We got into that discussion there. I will run that discussion back as well. He is Charlie Usen. My name is Mitch Nelles. Remember, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Wisconsin Sports Daily today is at the Broadhouse downtown from 2 to 5, brought to you by Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Not only is Sparky there from 2 to 5, but Tommy Big Dub Wirtz is going to be there from 5 to 6:30 with the leadoff show as he gets you ready for Brewers and Phillies. Big one at AmFam Field. Brewers got to show up for this one. They got to show up tonight. They got to show up tomorrow because Philly already won game one. Philly is in second place. They're only 4.5 back in the National League. This is Middays with Thunder on the Fan. This is Middays with Thunder here on the Fan. My name's Mitch Nellis, aka Thunder. That's how we came up with the name of the show. Very creative. Middays with Thunder. I'm Thunder. It is midday. It's 11 to 2. You know what we need to start doing, Charlie?
What's that?
It's gonna be better for me than you.
All right.
I gotta be honest. I'm not. I know. There's no. There's a me in team. If you go backwards, there's also a me in media. There's no I in team. If we're gonna be middays with Thunder, we got to be out for lunch, right?
Yeah.
And I want you with me.
Okay.
I want you sitting next to me.
Okay.
I don't know. You think
I don't think we're going to be able to figure.
You don't
that
think
out.
anybody's signing off on that?
I don't think anybody's signing off on that.
You think you're going to be here and I'm going to be out?
Probably.
Right.
You know, you could bring me back some lunch though. I'll take that.
So here's the issue. Because I live in Whitefish Bay, I'm never coming back to the station. Like there's never, unless I'm in McGuanago or Muskego, which I'm more than willing to go to. There are good restaurants in both McGuanago and Muskego or Lake Geneva. You want to send me to Grand Geneva? I'll go out on their patio. I've done the show out there many times. I've done the show out on their patio. I would go to those places and on my way back, drop you off food on my way to wherever I'm going. But like if I'm downtown, I'm not coming back to Hales Corners, then going to Whitefish Bay. That's silly.
Okay, then maybe like we have fancy ordering food delivery services now. You could send something my way.
Is DZ our fancying? I feel like DZ like 2 or 3 days a week gets breakfast.
I think so, yeah.
By the way, for those of you who don't know, DZ is with our little sister station, Kiss FM. We love Allie and DZ. They do a great job. Man, we should I know DZ and Radar, who both are on our morning shows here, and Charlie, I mean, Charlie's more like also. I feel like they are like mean Bears fans, mean to the Packers. Were you mean to Packers fans at one point? Because you are the gentle giant.
I am.
So besides being on the football field, which I assume you were a little mean, because you have to be.
A little bit, yeah.
But off the field, as a fan, I've never gotten a mean vibe from you.
No, I don't think so. And most of the time, like throughout my life, the Bears have been bad. I've been sad about being a Bears fan. Usually Packers fans are mean to me just for being a Bears fan in Wisconsin. You know?
Because you're I mean,
they'll
where were you
thing.
born?
I was born in Brookfield. So.
Where'd you go to elementary school?
Not
the name of the school, but like that, like
just in Brookfield.
In Brookfield. Where'd you go to middle school?
In Brookfield.
Where'd you go to high school?
Brookfield Central. Yeah.
Where'd you go to college?
Elmhurst University in Illinois.
Illinois. Okay, all right. But like from 0 to 18, you lived in Brookfield.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the thing where they'd be like, we respect you for being a Bears fan, but also we hate you.
Yeah, exactly. You know what we call people who were born in Brookfield and lived in Brookfield from 0 to 18?
What's that?
Packers fans?
No.
Yeah, we just do. Like you're a Wisconsinite.
Yeah, I'm a Wisconsinite.
Wisconsin
That's true.
Runs through your blood.
Like you said earlier about the whole Jerry Jones thing, two things can be right at the same time. I'm a Wisconsinite, but I can be a Bears fan.
Nicely done. Nicely done. All right. 414-677-1250. I am doing top 5 Packers. Right now, today, your top 5 Packers. But I also want to know how do I want to word this? Not to be a good fan, to be a fanatic, to be a passionate fan. Do you have to be a little mean? Do you have to have a little do you know who Tarek Saleh is?
I do.
Who's Tarek Saleh?
He's a former Packer player, isn't he? That's what the extent that
former Badger.
Badger, that's who it was.
I believe.
I only know that because Sparky always called Robert Saleh Tarek Saleh when Robert Saleh was helping out with the Packers last season. That's the only reason I know that name.
I believe to this day, Tarek Saleh is the all-time leader in sacks for the Wisconsin Badgers. He played linebacker, and then I think he switched a little bit to fullback in the NFL. Browns, Panthers, maybe. He wasn't quite fast enough to be an NFL linebacker, but he was a great college linebacker. You know what he always used to say?
What's that?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word.
He is number 1, by the way.
He has
33 sacks. Yep.
If I text you a word, can you tell me? Now, I've said this word on the radio before. He has said this word on the radio before. I know that our good friend Homer has said this word on the radio before because we used to use it as an example. But I'm going to text it to you right now.
Okay.
And you're going to tell me if you feel comfortable me saying that.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
To be a good football player, not a fan. This is what he would say. To be a good football player, you got to have a little bit of a prick in you. You know, you got to be a little bit of a jackwagon. You got to be a little bit of a jerk. And I think to be a passionate fan, like I believe in leading with kindness, but I also believe like there needs to be a little bit of an edge. And I would say edge. I'd say, like, do you need a little bit of an edge to be a really good fan?
To be a fan?
To be a really good fan. Do you need a really good edge? Do you need an edge in you?
I don't think to be a fan, no. And I also think that changes depending on the sport that you're cheering for as well.
Okay.
I think I've said this before, with football, people are very much fans of the teams, and that's what they love about the sport. That's what they like to cheer on. In basketball, people are fans of the players, and they love watching specific players and love watching what one guy can do no matter what team he's on.
Okay.
And in baseball, people are fans of the sport, and people just love watching baseball and just love watching the stats in baseball and all the different crazy things that any player is doing.
Yep.
And because of that, I think in baseball, no, you don't really have to be a prick. In a basketball, I think there are some people that choose to be, but because you're a fan of the players, you don't really have to be all the time. It's only if you're arguing if a player is better than another player.
But I do think being part of a fan is also like not necessarily like going out of your way to cheer against your team's opponents, but like if you are a Brewers fan, there's a little element of I'm cheering against the Cubs. Not actively. Like I would never choose to cheer against the Cubs over cheering for the Brewers.
Right.
Right? And so when the Brewers was it 2008? In 2008, when the Brewers needed the Cubs to beat the Mets in the last series, we were literally playing Go Cubs Go on the radio in Milwaukee. Like we literally were playing that because we needed the Cubs to beat the Mets to get the Brewers into the playoffs. So I'm never going to root against a team at the expense of cheering for my team. But like Spike Eskin said, like it's a little fun. It's a little more fun. Like if the Giants and the Commanders and the Cowboys all stink, that's not so fun for the Eagles. But there's a little juice as an Eagles fan if the Cowboys are supposed to be good and then they lose a game and then they lose. Like there's a little bit of juice, not all the way. Again, I'm never doing it at the expense of cheering for my team, but there's a little, I know for a lot of Bucs fans, there was a little joy when the Celtics lost, right? Because that's been the rivalry and that's been a heated rivalry for a number of years now in the Eastern Conference. So there's a little joy. Now, I don't think people were cheering for Tatum to get hurt, that sort of thing. And I'm not cheering for that, but there was a little joy that the Celtics lost and weren't able. There was a little joy when the Pacers finally lost and that they didn't win the championship. Now, the Pacers were kind of a different story because they became the Cinderella and like the little engine that could. But for, if the Pacers had lost to the Knicks or the Pacers had lost, to the Cavs, there would have been that little joy there that like, you know what? I don't like these guys. This is the rival of the team that I love.
Right. And I think that is okay. Again, as long as it stays within the world of basketball or the world of football too. I think there's some people like you're saying that are fans against another team just to like the detriment of the player. They just want to make fun of a guy and they keep going at him outside the sport or will never give them their due credit. I think it's also important that when the Pacers do go on a run like that, where they are that amazing and just out of this world, is that you recognize that, because that's what we want people to do with the Milwaukee Brewers, is that they recognize how good this Brewers team is and they stop talking about it like they're ready to implode any minute when the Brewers just clearly are not at that point. I think as sports fans, not just a fan of a team, that you have to recognize when something amazing is happening too.
Yeah, I think I'll give you that. I think there's something to that as well. I was just curious what people thought about that fandom as we got into that conversation. 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. 414-677-1250. In the 1 o'clock hour, we will get into this conversation. Who are your top 5 Packers? We will review who your top 5 Brewers are. This is going to be a segment going on weekly on Middays with Thunder. I think Tuesdays will typically be the Packer question. Wednesdays will typically be the Brewers question. We just flip-flopped it we flip-flopped it on you this week. But next week, because Tuesday's that off day for the Packers, that'll be our Packers discussion on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Sometimes there's a day game, sometimes there's not, but we'll do the Brewers question on the Wednesdays. But I know I've got a bunch of questions on Facebook. Feel free at the Fan Milwaukee, at Thunder MKE on Twitter. You can also text in your answer, 414-467, that's my phone number, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. If you want to text me personally, you can do that too. I know many of you listening have my phone number, so go right ahead and text me if you want to. I'm not going to give the rest of my number. I've done it before, so I mean, if you're paying attention, or you could always go back and listen. You could find my phone number, I'm sure, somewhere. It's probably pretty public on Twitter and Facebook on my personal page as well. I feel like I have
that open about your
I'm pretty
phone
open with my number. Yeah, I want to be reachable. I want to be a man of the people. Remember, we're family here.
Right.
Like, we're the fan, but we are family. Middays with Thunder is a family. If you want to be a member of the Middays with Thunder family, we should start making a list. I was on a show a long time ago, and part of a show that had a list, and they went like 1 through 999, and once they got to 1,000, they kind of stopped doing the list. But I would love to create the family. So if you want to be part of the Middays with Thunder family, you go right ahead. You shoot me a text. You shoot me a Facebook message. You shoot me a Twitter message. However you want to get in touch with me or Charlie, you go right ahead. Or Tommy, because he's going to be a part of the show as well. You go ahead and let me know you want to be a part of the family. This is Middays with Thunder, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan, free on the Odyssey app. We're in the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.